Some classic WoW zones don't just feel like places you level through, they feel like places you remember, not because every quest was amazing or because every mob was special, but because the game made you spend time there. And for a lot of Alliance players, that feeling started right here in Elwynn Forest. Goldshire was probably the first place where WoW started feeling alive. You had the inn, random players running around, people dueling outside, someone jumping on the roof, someone asking for help in chat, and you're just standing there as a level 6 human thinking this game is massive. And honestly, it was for its time, and it still is. Not because the zone was huge on the map, because everything was new. Honestly, Goldshire was the first place where Elwynn stopped feeling like a solo game and really started feeling like an open world, like an open MMO. And then Stormwind was right there. That's what made Elwynn feel so special. We started in this calm little forest, killing wolves, running errands, getting lost around Goldshire, and then just down the road was the capital of the Alliance. As a kid, those gates feel enormous. Stormwind was proof this game was very extraordinary and still is to this day. Elwynn Forest had this perfect beginner zone magic. It felt safe, but it still felt alive. And then there was Hogger. Hogger was basically the first boss fight of anybody's childhood in this game. You'd be running around Elwynn, feeling like you finally understood the game. Then you'd wander too far, and this elite gnoll would absolutely humble you. And I mean, constantly. It's funny now, but that's why it stuck. Even in the starting zone, classic WoW let the world push back. Hogger was so difficult, you had to find a group to take this guy out. And that's one of the key elements of this game, even in the beginning zones, that really pushes WoW to a different standard. And then you had the kobold mines. Looking at them now, they're just small caves full of candle-obsessed kobolds, but back then, they felt huge. You'd walk in, take a wrong turn, pull too many mobs, and suddenly you're fighting for your life over some candles. That was early WoW. Small places felt big because the game actually made you spend time inside them. You weren't rushing past the world. You were learning it one cave, one road, and one bad pull at a time. That's what made early WoW different. The game didn't need some massive cinematic moment. It just needed a cave, a few kobolds, enough time for you to remember being there. And then you step into one of the best zones of the Eastern Kingdoms, in my opinion. It is Westfall, and the whole mood changes once you go into the zone. Elwynn was green, safe, and familiar. Westfall felt open, dry, lonely, and broken. The farms looked abandoned, the roads felt longer, and suddenly Azeroth didn't feel like a cozy starter zone anymore. It felt like a world with problems, and many problems at that. That's what made Westfall hit different. Westfall felt rough, it felt poor, and it felt dangerous. You had things all around. And then you had Sentinel Hill. This little Alliance outpost sitting in the middle of it all, like it was barely holding the zone together. That's what made Westfall memorable. It wasn't just a place to level. It felt like the first time Azeroth had real problems. Westfall was also where loot started to feel exciting. A green item actually mattered. A weapon upgrade could change your whole night, and if you got a blue item, it felt insane. That's something I missed about early WoW. The rewards weren't constant, but when you got something useful, you remembered it. Even a small upgrade felt like progress. And the crazy thing is, Westfall wasn't even some high level zone. It was still early in the game, but it felt important. That's what old WoW did so well. It made low level zones feel like they mattered. You weren't just rushing through them to get somewhere better. You were actually living in them for a long time. You learned the roads, you remember the mobs, you knew where the danger was, you knew where to run when things went bad. And by the time you finally moved on, the zone had already become part of your memory. That's why Elwynn and Westfall hit so hard. They weren't just the beginning of the Alliance leveling path. They were the beginning of Azeroth feeling real.